Today I'm going to keep that black belt on the table because it is justified for this episode. I want to talk about health balanced along with your career, fitness managed along with your career. And the reason why I want to talk about this is that in the past 12 years, as an engineer, as an undergraduate, going through 4 years of college, and then being in coaching institutes in Delhi for 1 year, and then working as a scientific officer in Bhabha Atomic Research Center, then working as scientist in Indian Space Research Organization, then leaving my job and working something on my own, trying to build a company, working as a teacher, interacting with so many students, and then working my way towards becoming an author. I've seen a plethora of people, from students to working professionals to independent entrepreneurs. They all have some reason or the other why they cannot pay attention towards their health because they are busy and they don't have time. Yet, in every domain that I worked in, the people on the top of the food chain always pay attention towards their health and fitness. What a paradox that is. So, why are we giving excuses? Now, I initially started with martial arts at the age of 8. Now, obviously, I did not have a career back then, although these days kids as young as 6 have a career, but I did not. And I got into martial arts just because I watched too many Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan movies. And then I seriously took martial arts and really kind of run with it at the age of 14, when I was pushed around too much as a teenager in school. And then I really started to move towards that black belt, which I achieved finally at the age of 18 or 19. I think it was 19, because black belt has this 3 levels of brown belt system, and 3 stripes brown is almost a black belt. So yeah, at the age of 18 or 19. That's not important though. And then I've seen so many black belts, some of them who got those belts, and I'm just taking the example of black belt. It can be anything. You play cricket, you play football, you're an athlete, you're a long distance runner, whatever it is. But in my domain, even some black belts who cannot throw a round kick anymore because they have done nothing in that domain for the past 3 years because they got busy. And that is a compromise that I want to talk about today. Most people take health and career as an exchange. They kind of admit that both cannot go hand in hand. But just like I said, I was able to manage both for the past 12 years at least, when the career started going. I got into B.Tech in 2012. And that's where my career in engineering really started. And I've seen so many people taking this health and career as an exchange. Okay, I will sacrifice health right now so that I can focus on my career. My argument is that your health is actually going to supplement your career. And I've seen this over and over again. Yes, if you start today and you start working out for even half an hour every day, you'll feel extremely tired. And that's the inertia barrier in the beginning. But if you balance both, then it is definitely going to set you apart. And matter of fact, every job interview that I sat for always looked very kindly towards my extracurricular activities, which was mostly focused towards martial arts, even for the scientist position of Indian Space Research Organization. It is mentioned in this book, and it is mentioned in the interview experience that I shared way before I wrote this book, that in my introduction, I did place this line that I've achieved a black belt in Shotokan Karate, and they all were impressed by it. What does a scientist at Indian Space Research Organization need martial arts for? I never used martial arts, for your kind information, as a scientist over there once I got selected. But every job, that's like the confusing part. Like every job interview likes that you have something physical going on, but those tests that gets you to that job interview does not pay attention towards that. And you think, all I'm going to do is focus towards cracking this examination, getting the best GPA, and then we'll figure it out. Some people actually build hobbies 1 month before the interview. They do. Because I was in that domain in Delhi where people were preparing for UPSC and engineering services and civil services. And they're like, okay, done with the prelims, done with the mains. Now there's an interview. Now I got to develop a hobby. The misfortune is not really those people who never had a hobby or never had a physical activity. It is really disastrous and tragic for people who had one and they just sacrificed it, because I see that in the comment section all the time that, oh, I used to do this, but then this happened and I had to give it up. You just gave up on finding a way to balance both of them together. Maybe you did not have an example of someone who actually did it. There are many people who did it. Some of them you'll find on YouTube, some you won't. I want to be one of them who actually shows you that this is definitely possible. And I always believe that your mind is supported by your body and your body is supporting your mind. It's not like one can be isolated and you I used to have this one friend who always used to say that, hey bro, body is just a vehicle for your brain, bro. And I always disagreed. He was a very smart guy, 100%. Kind of did well in his career as well. But I never agreed with that philosophy, because your career is one thing and you will enjoy life better if you're having a solid health going on with it. And like as people grow older, because I've seen that barricade of crossing 25 and your body really changes. You are not going to be as agile as you were at 18. You cannot eat anything you want and still have ripped abs. That does not work post a certain age, and that becomes way worse if you did not take care of yourself, like especially in your 20s, because that's the time where most people turn from boys to uncles. And same with the girls, you can have a corollary. But my point over here is to really discuss methods of how you can manage both. I've showed you the importance. I've showed you that it is possible. Now I want to one by one discuss how you can really do it. So this whole podcast topic was driven by this single question. And that's what I want you to know, that your comments can actually make a huge impact in the podcast and can bring topics that everybody is looking for, and above all can answer your questions. So please don't hesitate to put your questions in the comment section. So I'm just going to read it out loud. So this comment is from Aswasani. Yeah, maybe I mispronounced it. Coming to the question: good evening, Ashish. I read your book last week. The book gave me another perspective at life when things don't go the way we want, and how we can achieve anything with grit and right mindset and a slight obsession. Thank you for the book. I will always cherish this copy. I'm a professional badminton player along with pursuing a group science stream. It's A with a capital. I'm going to put the question on the screen anyways, but for the listeners. Sometimes I find it quite difficult to manage both, as I want to excel in both. I know that you would be the best person to get an insight from, as you too are a Taekwondo athlete. Please give insight on this. Real quick, my book, The Boy Who Did Not Sign, is available both in paperback and ebook on all the platforms. For example, Amazon, Flipkart. It's globally available. I'll put all the links down in the description box. It's a fictional novel based on my experience of working in nuclear program, working my way to become a scientist in Indian Space Research Organization. It's a legit story based by true experiences, and it's not a self-help book, so you will get an experience of what it is like from the first person perspective. And also I have mentioned a lot of things about how I was always paying attention towards my health, because it was a means for me to deal with enormous amount of pressure that I was facing while I was trying to balance a highly complicated job with my ambitions of getting another highly complicated and competitive job. So now finally moving to how you can do this. And my number one advice for everybody who is either getting started with job, without job, with some education, with coaching, in any case scenario, the best way to manage your health would be waking up early. And now I know that this is like an atom bomb drop to most of the people who find it the most difficult thing in this world to wake up early. But let me share my experience with you and what I was before I started doing these things seriously. I used to play video games till 4 o'clock in the morning. Skyrim, GTA 4 at that time, and bunch of Assassin's Creed games. And I used to go to IIT JEE coaching from 3 o'clock and come back to my home somewhere around 8 o'clock, have dinner till 10 o'clock, and then from 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock, I used to play video games. That's all I did. And then I would wake up again 8:30, obviously be late at the gate of my school. I used to ride a bicycle to my school. So you can see it is extremely unhealthy how less the amount of sleep I was getting. So I would make up for it during my IIT JEE coaching. So you don't have to worry about that. But also I was like 18, so you can get away with it when you're so young. Now, that does not mean you start doing it. All right. That was definitely not a good way of doing it. You can see the result of what I had in IIT JEE in some other video where I've discussed that. But from there, when I got into college, the first thing that I switched was my sleep routine. So from there to sleeping at 4 a.m. in the morning, I started sleeping at 11 p.m. at night, waking up at 5:30 a.m. in the morning. Now, how you can do this switch, let's first talk about this. There are two ways of doing it. You can move that 4 a.m. to 3 a.m. to 2 a.m. to 1 a.m. over the span of 3 weeks, and then eventually bring it to, let us say, 10 p.m. over the span of 2 months. That's one way. If you don't miss out or go out of your way for like 2 months, or you can do it in 1 day. How can you do that? Well, you can just go to sleep at 4 a.m. just like you did yesterday, but wake up super early, like 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, no matter what you have to do. Like crawl your way out of your bed or give yourself a shower or whatever you need to do. Feel like hell throughout the day and then crash into your bed at 10 o'clock at night. So you can resist throughout the day if you can do that. I've done that many times because of semester examination, and when I was in BARC through the training school program in nuclear science and engineering, we had a similar system of semester examination and classes, and I had to pull off an all-nighter or just 2 hours of sleep many times. But I immediately switched it when the exams ended like this. It is possible. I've done it myself. Might not be the healthiest thing, but what you're doing right now is not very healthy either. So those are two ways of switching it. And once you switch it, you have to go through that super sluggish behavior for a week or so, and then it will be adjusted. It's just like the way that this guy in the comment mentioned. It's just grit. You have to stick with it. If you're really willing to make yourself better than what you are now, you will be doing it. And the more you do it, the more confidence that you get that it is very possible and this is the right way, because it is going to eventually become easier. Now you are going to feel like shit for 2 weeks, but every next day you feel less like crap. So you start getting confidence that, okay, this is possible and this is the right way. And another good motivation is that you are immediately separating yourself from 90 to 95% of the people on this planet, because you are giving yourself that is very difficult to find, and that is discipline. Discipline is nothing but the will to do what you said you would do. And how many times have you said that you want to wake up early, but you never did it, right? This is the point where you need to start taking actions and actually doing what you said. Even if you never said it out loud, you said it in your head, and your head is listening when you did not do what you said. So once you start doing that, that's when you start getting an extra amount of confidence within yourself that it is actually possible to do things that I say. So that's one way, that's two way of that's two way of waking up early. Pick whatever you want, but the end goal remains the same, that you have started waking up early. Now you'll say that I'm a night owl, and I will say that is possible, but very less probable, because there are nearly not as many night owls in this world as it is claimed. So most of you guys are just normal people who like to go to sleep early and wake up early. That's how your genetics are tuned, because human genetics are tuned in a way that after the sunset you can't see anything. It's better to go to sleep, wake up early in the morning, go hunting. That's how human genetics evolved. And most likely, unless you were one of those guards at night who would stay awake all night, you were one of those hunters who would wake up early in the morning and go to sleep early at night. So that's what I used to think when I was staying awake till 4 o'clock in the morning. Oh, I'm a night owl. I like to study at night, and this is also like a cool thing to do. I study at night. And whenever I wanted to tell this to my parents or my relatives, that when I study, oh, I study at night. That's how I'm trained to or tuned to study. So that is one route everybody takes, that this is how I'm wired. But you don't know how you're wired unless you try the other one. So give it a shot for a solid 1 to 2 months, and let's see if your productivity increases or decreases. If it decreases, then you're a night owl. If it doesn't, then you're just another normal person, which is, there's nothing wrong with that, but you perform better like that. And wouldn't you want to perform better than what you are doing right now? Now, sometimes it is just not possible for you to be a night owl. For example, if you're having a 9 to 5 job, or you have to go to your college or your school early in the morning, let us say 8 o'clock, you cannot afford to be a 9 to 5. So you will have to switch that. Now, I did all that, waking up 5:30 in the morning and going to sleep at 11 o'clock till I was in ISRO. And the moment I left that job and I had full day for myself, especially this happened to many of us during the COVID pandemic, because I resigned from ISRO in January 2020, and right after that COVID pandemic happened. So it was not just me, everybody started working from home. And when that happened, I started waking up super late too. I started waking up at 12 o'clock, sometimes 2 o'clock, started working till 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, because I was writing and working on this book. And sometimes you are just in flow. And I understand that. You're a writer, you're an artist, you're in flow, you want to focus towards your creativity, the world does not matter. And you can stay awake till late at night. But can you do that with a job? Not possible, right? So when I came to America, I was still working on this book, but now I had to be somewhere 9 o'clock in the morning. So I switched it again. So like I said, I've done it myself, switched it multiple times, and started waking up at 5:30 in the morning, going to gym early in the morning, then working on this book, and then going to do whatever I needed to do at 9 o'clock. So it is always possible to switch, even if you're not wired, which is like 0.0001% who are not wired like that and claiming that you are a night owl, even if you might not be. So keep those things in your mind. Sometimes you just can't be that person. And if you are sacrificing your sleep because you're staying awake till 4 o'clock in the morning, because you think that this is a cool thing to do or easier thing to do a lot of times, because I know it is easier to just stay awake till 4 o'clock in the morning than to go to bed at 10 o'clock. I know that. So you cannot hamper your health. You cannot get like broken 6 hours of sleep and then 2 hours of sleep later, because in the long run, you're going to pay for it. So these are the tiny things that you have to shift in your life if you want a better health. And now I'm going to get into how this is going to help you to balance with your 9 to 5 or whatever your career stage you are at right now. So if you wake up early in the morning, and let us say you have to report at 9 o'clock in the morning somewhere, and you wake up at 5:30 in the morning, you can easily squeeze in an hour towards your health. Can you not do that? You actually have more time. You can put some time towards your passion, the side thing that you're working on. That is all possible just by waking up early in the morning. So we have already talked about, you do not know if you're wired in like that. You do not know until unless you have tried the other side. So give it a shot, and this is a great way for you to balance your health along with your career. So first of all, you get good sleep. Second of all, you are following the natural circadian rhythm of a human being. And third of all, you are able to work out, which is also aligning very much to your genetics. Like I said, first thing you do is go hunting, go running, go physical. You're wired in like that, more likely than not. And you're not doing that, which is in the long run harmful for you. Research has shown that it is actually harmful for you to just have no human interaction as well, because humans are wired in like that. Humans are wired in to be social. Another topic for another day, but there are few things that you just cannot escape. For example, you cannot escape death. That is how you're wired in. You're wired in for a limited amount of time. So many benefits just by waking up early. Hope that gives you a motivation to at least give it a shot. And I can say this because I've done it, and it has helped me so much to balance so many different things along with my health. All right, so once you wake up early in the morning and you hit the gym, it is done and dusted. So once you are in this routine and habit, you won't even realize that you're putting some time over there. You kind of just made extra time. And also, apart from everything else, don't you ever complain that 1 hour towards workout is 1 hour that I cannot afford, because you clearly waste more than 1 hour throughout the day doing dumb stuff. So start calculating the time that you're spending on your phone. Start finding out the time that you're just doing nothing. Start finding out the time that you're neither doing something productive nor doing something that is refreshing. And that time can easily equate to an hour. Most of the time, more than that can go into workout or something physical. Sometimes, if it is too difficult, just take a walk. You will be surprised how much beneficial walks are. I have never done it myself before. Like, I've done like 2,000 steps or something, but there are people who take it like 10,000 or 20,000 steps. And I saw dramatic changes in them. Walking is super underrated. I'm more of a runner, so I go for like a 3 kilometer, 5 kilometer run. But sometimes running, especially on concrete, is heavy on your knees and it's kind of harmful. So, and also very exhausting, and for some people might not be possible, might not be feasible. But walking is so underrated. So if you are doing nothing, try to walk for half an hour or 1 hour. Just take a walk, and it is going to be much better than doing nothing. But what I'm saying is, allocate time and slowly get into a zone where it is a habit, not an obligation. And it will get to that stage. You will get to that stage within 6 months where it's not like you have to do it. It's more like you want to do it, because one of the least known fact by people who do not regularly work out is that they do not know how positive they feel after they work out. Like, there's kind of, I would go as far as to say that 0 people who walk out of the gym less motivated than they were when they walked into the gym or whatever, playground or your mat or whatever it is. But after physical activity, you kind of gain motivation. You feel more positive, and that has deep connections with how we are wired in. Think about when desks were invented and when people started going to schools or colleges or offices. Think about when cubicles were invented, and you can't even go 100 years back in past when you'll find the cubicles so widely spread throughout the world. Even like in 1800s, people who were working and going for 9 to 5 were mostly working in factories and they were doing physical activities. Before that, it was farming, war. People were exerting themselves physically. You think that genetics can change within 200 years? You really think so? And you think that your body does not demand that anymore, and you can now sit on a chair in front of table for like 8 hours and you'll be fine? Take it from a guy who has prepared for competitive examinations for 6 years and worked as an engineer, gone through the college. I always found out time to exert myself physically because I knew that that is not how we are wired in, and there are some demands from your body. Otherwise, it will just snap at some point and you are not going to be as productive. And you're hurting the same thing that you're trying to achieve so hard because you're neglecting the same thing that is going to help you to achieve it. All right, so this is all shift in the mindset. Now, we are going to talk about how to manage health with your studies, especially because even a lot of working professionals are studying for some examination while they're working and they want to maintain health as well. And trust me, it is possible. I was a working professional when I was preparing for ISRO, and it is very, very possible. Even afterwards, I always had something going on in the side while something which was paying me was also going on simultaneously, and the health was also a primary focus. It's all possible. It's not too good to be true. It's good and it is possible. We are going to talk about diet because that's an important one, and few things that you can do without even moving from your couch, and that can be done by just putting the right fuel in your body. And then finally, paying some more attention towards importance of sleep, after which we are going to get into some other common questions. I wanted to read few lines from my book because it talks exactly about what I was explaining right now, about how things were when I got into college and why I made a decision of balancing my health along with my career or education at that time in engineering. Two important reasons, and none of them goes isolated, are number one, I was already into martial arts and I was already, I think, a purple belt by that time. So I was taking it seriously, and I wanted to move towards black belt for sure. And so I was working hard towards it. And the second one was that a lot of things changed around me, and I realized that this is my last chance to make a good career because I was not in a good university. I did not perform well in IIT JEE or all of these other engineering entrance examinations. So I was in a third tier college. So I knew that I had to work extremely hard. So both of them combined into me taking discipline to its extremes. So here's how it goes. So the book has total of 3 extracts from my college days, and this is one of them. So I'm going to read just few lines from it. I was alone, which gave me a lot of time to think and ask questions that we usually avoid, like, what am I good at? What values do I provide? Why should someone pay me? What do I want to do with my life? Why does nobody want to be with me? From that point, I resolved to change. I developed a routine: wake up at 5:30 a.m. in the morning, eat clean, work out before classes, hit the library as soon as classes are over, and crash on the bed by 11 p.m. Repeat the next day. Regardless of weekends or semester breaks, New Year or Christmas, I called it the regiment. And there are few more lines from this topic in future part of the book as well, but I'm going to explain that right after we have talked about the next topic, that is, what are some of the quick and healthy meal options for you? How can you change diet? Because just now you saw it written over there as well that I also took diet very seriously. Now before this happened exactly when I was 18, because that's when I got into my college. And before that, obviously diet was not an option, or I was eating whatever was being cooked at home. But I started taking few things very seriously, that I want to eat healthy. And the reason I started to do that at first was because unhealthy food made me lazy. And you can experience this in your own life as well. You wake up early in the morning, you have breakfast, and then you feel sleepy, and you blame yourself for waking up early in the morning, and you think that waking up early in the morning is making you sleepy when the breakfast is making you sleepy. Especially in Indian diet, there are so many things that are just designed to make you feel asleep. And there are different parts of India. I understand that, from with which the food and the breakfast also changes. But in my place, I'm from Jharkhand area, it is so common to have puri with chole early in the morning. I know because I've lived in Delhi for more than a year, and in our PGs, early morning, it was paratha that you would get. And there's just so many things. Like, I remember that few people at my home always used to have that white bread with butter early in the morning. These are just designed to make you lazy. And in my college as well, I would wake up and I'll find something like this early in the morning. And because of that, I decided to take things in my own hand, and there are few things that even students can do. And I did not have a house, a proper place where I could actually cook until I was in BARC. BARC gave us like a 2 BHK, which included a kitchen, so we could actually cook few things. But being a student, obviously we did not go grocery shopping and chop vegetables and cook. We never did that. But there are few things that any student or even working professional who are super busy can do. So I did not start eating oats until I was in Delhi, but that was a big discovery and changed my diet so much, to the point that almost 10 years later, today morning also, I had oats for my breakfast. I'm going to get to that later, but coming to even lower resources, what you can do. I started having brown bread first, obviously better than white bread. And instead of adding jam or butter, that a lot of us do, I started adding peanut butter. Now, most of the peanut butter also has sugar in it, but I also started getting all natural peanut butter, which does not have sugar in it. Now, it tastes a lot worse. But the thing is that taste lasts only as long as you're eating, and most of the time it lasts only till the first couple of bites, and after that you're just doing it because you're doing it. All right. So and taste is so subjective, because you like sugar because you are literally adding sugar in everything, or you like spice because you are adding tomato ketchup in everything that you're eating. But if you cut that out for some time, you don't like it as much. And this is something that you will never realize until unless you do it. For example, like I said, we used to have so much food with a lot of oil in it, right? For example, puri, paratha, and all these things have so much oil in it, Indian food. And oil makes you groggy. It's a no-brainer. So obviously, I would like oil and I would crave oil too. But I know that it makes me lazy, so I started cutting that out. And in a year or so, if I get oily food, I just hate it. And that happens. You like chocolate a lot. Mostly you like sugar. Most of the Indian chocolates, at least, are so much sugar. So you like chocolate a lot and you eat that, and then you crave for it. And you say that I won't have that much sugar anymore. I won't have that much sugar in my life, and I'm going to cut that out, because if you turn the chocolate around and see the amount of sugar, it's too much. And I read at that point somewhere that you should have somewhere on 30 grams of sugar every day, not more than that. And you'll see a bar of chocolate or a cookie and it itself has 30 grams. So I decided, okay, I'll cut down sugar. Somehow it will help me. I did not know exactly how, but we all kind of will agree that sugar is not that good for you. So I started cutting that out. 2 years later, I don't like chocolate. I don't crave for chocolate. So it's not like you are not doing something you want to do, or you are not eating something you want to eat. You like it because you're addicted to it. And if you can cut that addiction, You don't like it that much, you don't want it that much, you don't crave it that much, and you're healthier. So I ate oats today morning with some mixed seeds, some chia seed on top of it, some dried blueberries on top of it. Not because I have to do it and I'm hating to do it. I did it because I want to do it. I actually have started to like that. Oats with coffee. I like to have that. So you really don't know what you like, because a lot of things that you like in food, you might actually be addicted to it. So pay attention towards that and start developing a habit towards cutting out oil, cutting out sugar as much as possible, and eating very bulky uh, food early in the morning. This is especially very important for Indians, because our food, even early in the morning, is going to just make you slimy. So you can't complain, because I was in that environment. I did not control the menu of my mess, obviously, and so I started to look at food options on my own. And I looked at eggs. I'm not a vegetarian, so I can't help you much. I'm just a guy, not a dietitian. I'm just sharing what I know. um, Oats, that works for you even if you're a vegetarian. Some of you guys will say that my PG owner does not allow me to have an electric kettle or anything electric or electric pan in my room. I've been there. All right. I did not cook oats until I was in BARC. So how was I eating oats for more than a year till then? It's a super messy way to do it. You can leave oats in water overnight and it's still eatable. And I used to do that over a year, did not get any disease or something. So I was fine. The other thing that you can leave overnight is sprouts, moong dal. You can put it in water, leave it overnight. Next morning, it is eatable. And it is super light too. If you eat these things, you'll find yourself much more active, much less sleepy, much more productive. So oats, sprouts, eggs. Boil the egg. For that you'll need a kettle. So if you don't have it, you can't do it. So I did not do it until I could. Next, you can eat peanut butter with bread. Some people don't like bread that much either. I mean, when it comes to diet, you can't help it. As a student, you don't have many options. And then when you go to mess, you can just pick out things which are healthy. For example, milk. Go to mess, have milk. If there's something healthy, you pick that and you complete your diet. When I was in college, I was also using this app which would calculate my calories, and you can do that too, to monitor how much calorie you're taking if you want to hit your goals, whether it is gaining weight or losing weight in a very healthy manner. So that is how managing diet as a student or a struggling working professional is a struggle. It is also a choice, but ultimately it is going to elevate your level in your career, because you will be able to be more productive and do more. And I'm reiterating it again and again so that I can kind of brainwash you also, to paradigm shift you from the brainwashing you already had, that you cannot do it and it is possible. And these are the ways that I found. You can find your ways, but the end goal remains the same. Just like I showed you 2 ways to wake up early in the morning, you can find out 4 more ways. The end goal matters, not the path. In a similar manner, the end goal is that you are healthier and more productive. And this is how you are actually developing a better career, if you are paying attention towards your health. Because ultimately what is going to happen is that you can do more. And so there's stages in which we improve ourselves. This is real self-development. The first stage is just brute work. You just work hard for 16 hours a day and just utilize every last second, and that is how you improve yourself. The next one is finding more and more efficient ways of doing the same, so that it's because once you reach that 16 hours, you understand that I can't work more than this. There's no way to have more time. So you work towards efficiency. You increases the efficiency of those 16 hours from 50% to 80%. So that is how you multiply time. That is how you make more time. That is how you improve your growth beyond your plateaus. So at some point you are going to reach that, okay, there's no more growth. You find out, oh, I need to use efficiency. And that also has a limit. Like you can never reach 100% efficiency. Carnot cycle explains that. But even if you did reach 100% efficiency, that's a plateau. So what are you going to do now? The next level is systems, and you multiply your work or productivity by making a team. But that is something that is not really a topic of discussion today. But that is how we grow. That is how one person grows to $1 billion company. So another topic for another day. Now, our next discussion is focused towards sleep. Let's talk about that. So you see that improving your health is not only going to the gym and working out. That's a part of it. But then health is another equally important part of it, and sleep is another equally important part of it. Truth be told, I did not sleep more than 6 hours throughout my heavy competitive examination preparation. Like when I went to Delhi, I started sleeping at 11 o'clock, waking up at 5 o'clock. That was a regular. But that's a tough cycle. Preparation for a national level competitive examination, that's tough on your health, on your body. But that's the way I looked at it. That if I'm losing health in here in sleep, I can make up for it by paying attention towards my diet and workout. It's not idle, and also it's not permanent. I'm going to get through it. And I was not able to sleep for more than 6 hours until 2020 when I left my job at ISRO, because it might be surprising. Central government job, you are having a very secure position. Why are you not sleeping for 8 hours anymore? Well, I was crazy. And also I was working on this book. I was working on this YouTube channel, and ISRO itself is a tough job. You can imagine. So I would again sleep at 11 o'clock and wake up at 5 o'clock or so. It was not until I left ISRO when I inevitably continued the same cycle, even though I'm not having the job and I was still sleeping for 6 hours. But my girlfriend at that time suggested that, hey, you gotta fix this. Sleep is your superpower, and you'll find yourself to be much more productive and happier if you just invest that time in that. And I tried it, and it was a lot different. I was feeling fresh, I was feeling alive, and continuing that cycle for 3 years or so. And even before that, when I was in college, I was not getting more than 7 hours of sleep. I would like sleep at 11 o'clock and then wake up again at 5:30. You take some time to dial into those sleep phases, and then you wake up, and then it's not a complete like even 7 hours. So it was never idle. But after that, I took like 8 hours. Currently, if you ask me, for the past 2 years or so, I've been sleeping 7.5 hours. I would like to sleep more, and that is my weakness, and I'm working towards it. But 6 hours is detrimental and also inevitable. Because I talk a lot about competitive examination, and that's the only place where it is kind of inevitable. Because that's a tough 1 year of freaking going against the bricks. And that's a very small fraction of the people who are very ambitious. But in all the other domain, I would say take sleep as your top priority. If your roommates are noisy all night, change your room. If you are living far away from your work, and because of that you are getting less sleep because you have to travel for 2 hours, move towards your work. Add these night lights, or use whatever you can to prioritize your sleep. That is extremely important. That is where your brain develops. That is where your body develops. And so you have to prioritize that. And that is why it is very important for you to maintain a consistent sleep hour. So today is a holiday. It's 4th of July when I'm recording this, and that's a holiday in America. So I'm having a holiday today. All of America is shut down, but I still woke up 7 o'clock in the morning. I would wake up 6 o'clock in the morning. Otherwise, I would sleep at 10 o'clock at night. Otherwise, but yesterday I slept at 11 o'clock and woke up at 7 o'clock. But it is not that dramatic shift in the sleep hours. It's okay. It can be balanced. So you should not just move your sleep cycle in the holidays, and it is again a tough struggle. Discipline is a struggle, but also this is one thing that separates you from most others, because see, whatever is difficult, you should aim towards that, because that is where most people quit and most people do not pursue it. So like anything, literally anything that is difficult, you should look towards it as, okay, this is a stepping stone for me to separate myself from my competition or to become better, because that is literally a milestone or a placard that is saying that, hey, do this to become better. And sleep cycle is one of that. Workout is one of that. Diet is one of that. Like all the three things that I talked about, you do not want to do. Yesterday I was having a telephonic consultancy with this guy, and a session with this guy one-on-one, and he was saying that he's again preparing for competitive examination. He's like, I don't want to do I don't want to give topic wise test series. I'm like, why? Have you tried it? It's like, no, I've never tried it, but I rather want to just study my notes and solve previous year questions. I'm like, doesn't matter what you want. If it was up to you, you wouldn't want to prepare for this examination either, would you? You would directly want a job or your master's that you're looking for. You don't want to do any of this, but you have to do what you don't want to do in most of the cases. I want to write another book. That is what I want to do. But because of that, there's so many things that I have to do. So understand this, that you don't get what you want by doing what you want to do. You get what you want by doing a lot of stuff that you hate to do a lot of times, a lot of things that you don't want to do. So same with like all the three things that I talked about, having a good sleep cycle, having good diet, and working out regularly. You don't want to do any of these right now. I want to do all three of these, but I've done this literally very regularly for 10 years. I really want to do all of these three things. So you will get to that position if you're just starting up. And that is why I said it is more tragic for people who are already in a routine. They're athletes and they're skipping on it because of their studies and their career. You have a better shot of balancing it. You can just allocate time. A better time management will help you do that in a better way, and you can balance both. For those who have never done it, it is 100% no-brainer. You should get into it, but it will be tough. And within a couple of years, it will become something that you kind of want to do and you feel good about doing it. Right now, you don't. Understand? So understand these little things about mindset, a simple paradigm shift of what you're thinking right now and the way that you should be thinking, and that makes all the difference in this world. All right. So with that said, if you have any more questions, put it down in the comment section, because you know that I take it very seriously. The next thing what I'm going to do right now in this podcast is discuss few other comments that came up, including the one that actually led this whole podcast. Most of his questions or her questions were answered, but if not, I'm going to discuss that. Before that, I want to read another few lines from my book about the regiment. Like I said, there are other parts of this book which focuses on how I balanced my health along with everything that I was doing in my career. The last one was when I was in college. This one that I'm going to read out is when I was in the nuclear program. This is inspired by when I was in BARC training school and I was working towards getting a job in Indian Space Research Organization. So inspired by that true event or true stories, I'm going to read the part that is kind of inspired by that. So here we go. I'm reading out from the chapter Choices and Consequences, page 80. So in this, the story has just begun, and the lead character Ashwin Taksh is in Science Center for Atomic Research, is going through a nuclear program, and are going through a degree. It's basically a master's program, and it's very heavy. Obviously, a lot of new things, a lot of very technical, cutting edge technology that he has to learn. And there are like 95 classes, and after that there's very tough competition because it is relative marking, and the career in the future of where you are going to be placed in the program depends on this. So what he's seeing at this point, in the simplest of words, is peer pressure, societal pressure. And this is something all of you are going to face at some point or the other. Most likely you're facing it right now. Your parents say something, your relatives say something. This is again like a problem very unique to Indian society. Your neighbor says something, and then that all comes to you. One day someone is saying you should do this, next day someone is saying this one is better, next day someone is saying that, oh, that guy that who went to school with you achieved this, so you should try this, and you are not able to focus on what you're doing right now. In a similar manner, Ashwin Taksh wants to become a scientist in Indian Space Research Organization. He's in nuclear program right now. Everybody around him is also in nuclear program. They say that, hey, you're sacrificing this or you're risking this. This is not a good idea. You already have a very good job. You might not make it to ISRO, and you might just mess up what you're having right now too. So terrible amount of pressure on his head, on his shoulders. And he's like, the way I'm going to fight this pressure is paying attention towards my health. I'm going to exert my body, break some sweat, and that is going to help me deal with pressure because it's a proven science that I've used in the past 4 to 5 years as well. And so I'm reading a few lines from the book. So it really starts after a conversation with another guy who's saying that, oh, what you're trying is too difficult. And there are people who are sitting in Delhi preparing for this examination 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day with the best faculties. And you are sitting over here in a nuclear program where you're barely able to put like 1/3 of your life towards this examination. How are you going to crack it? And after that, these few lines come up. Another aspect of my life that has proven time and time again to negate pressure is fitness. I had caught up with the regiment. I would wake up at 5:30 a.m. every morning. On Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, I would put on my running shoes, run to the gym, which was 3 kilometers away, lift weights for 45 minutes, and walk back. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday were dedicated to martial arts. So he's actively using physical fitness. Now, it was a very small paragraph, and many of you guys did not even take it much seriously when you're reading this book. But what I'm trying to show is that that was always a very important aspect of my life. I would not compromise with it. And I think I would not have made it to ISRO if I did not do it, because the amount of pressure and panic that you feel in your head when you are having something so good and you're risking it away for something so difficult, like the slightest 0.01% less than that chance. So to give you a perspective, I had gone through a competition of 200,000 people and went through and qualified the first round, where somewhere around 700 people got selected for the interview, out of which I was one of the 35 mechanical engineers who got into that program. So you're looking at 35 is to 2 lakh. And then when I got into that program, which is highly prestigious, Group A Gazetted Officer post, level 10 pay matrix, I say that I'm going to get into that 200,000 competition again, and then I'm going to qualify for, what was the 1:10 ratio? So I'm going to qualify for the examination for which only 400 people qualifies, and then I'm going to be in the top 40. And the truth is that I was in top 4 when that really happened. I was All India rank 4 in Indian Space Research Organization 2018 mechanical engineering. So I don't think that would have happened if I did not take my health along with me. I would not have able to run that fast or run that long. And the main reason why I feel that that would not have happened is because there was just too much pressure. There's too much pressure of people telling you a few things. There's too much pressure of family telling you something. There's too much pressure of what you should do, and nobody asks you what you want to do. And I was young, like 23 years old, trying to dabble between what I should do and what is my passion. It's difficult. You do not have that much experience in life. Like right now, I know that that was the right decision of what I was doing. But back then, you're confused. Like 18, you're confused. There's so many people who are asking me so many questions about their career deep into their mid-20s. And I understand they're confused because they do not know what is the right path. And when that is added with so many people just telling you you should not do it, and that is the one thing that you have found out that, yeah, this is what I need to do, it's extremely difficult. And plus, on top of that, when you're in your early 20s, there are like relationship problems. There's always a girl for a guy or the opposite. And that is a pressure. And then you're worried about that. What is my life going to look like relationship wise? You went through a breakup and you're like, oh, I'm sacrificing too much. Or your friends are going out for a dinner, or they're going out for a 7-day tour, and you're like, what am I doing for my life and for what? What are the chances of this happening? So it's too much. It's a lot of pressure. If you have never done it, when you start doing it, you understand exactly what I'm talking about. And if you do nothing to deal with that pressure physically, not pushing yourself physically to deal with literally fighting that pressure, you're going to collapse. That is going to happen. Or you're going to give up. And that happens all the time. So I think that it is absolutely non-negotiable that if you are going to do something difficult, which you have to do to make a great career, you cannot compromise with your physical fitness. I tried my best to make you understand why you need to do it and why I did it. Rest is your decision. Obviously, you're a free human being. Now, coming back to the questions, and first one with Ashwasani, I guess. Again, the question was, I'm a professional badminton player, and I find it quite difficult to manage both. And please give me an insight on this. See, what I will say is that when it comes to physical fitness or being an athlete, there are few points in your life where you're just maintaining it. And then there are few points in your life when you're growing it. For example, if you're going for a competition, you're preparing for that. 6 months is going to be growing, optimizing, and tuning your body. And if you are preparing for an examination and you want to use your physical strength, what you're doing is maintaining. So maintaining does not take much time. Over here in the book also, it was written that I was just putting 45 minutes in the gym. So, or 45 minutes towards my martial arts workout, may it be boxing or Taekwondo, whatever it was 30 minutes to 45 minutes because I was just trying to maintain it. I would go for a run, but not for a 5 kilometer, maybe for a kilometer or two. I would just maintain and then focus on the other thing which I'm trying to grow. And then when that is done, and now I can grow towards my career as an athlete, let us say, then I'm going to put that much amount of extra time towards that. So understand what is important when. Do not quit one. So let us say now you want to really pursue your badminton career hard. Are you going to leave your other career related to your academics completely? No, you're going to balance that at that point. So understand what you need to do when. And that is the resource management you have to learn sooner or later. Very closely associated with time management. But give yourself time to think about it properly. How much time, when, what is my plan? Those are the things that is going to give you a good idea of what you need to do right now. All right, next question by Lizarwar. Okay, I'm not going to try to pronounce that again. This is actually the most logical video I've seen so far. I'm NEET aspirant. When I was in coaching, people told me to leave everything and just study and study. Well, now neither could I be selected, nor I am healthy, nor I am taking a drop. Now I'm taking a drop, gonna lose weight and get selected next year. Also gonna work on my hobbies. Adios. Gotta see another video on Pomodoro. I know. All right. So that makes sense. Well, when you're sacrificing your health, you're not just sacrificing your health, and it's not really going to be a good exchange. Most likely you're going to damage your career as well, because you're not at your full potential. And to achieve the maximum heights in any career, you have to be in a good optimum tuned position physically, just as much you are mentally. So it makes sense. I wish you all the very best. I'm going to pronounce it one more time. Lizarar. Okay, that's the last one. Okay, next one. Dude, no way you turned 30. You still look like someone around my age in early 20s. This is one of the most common comments that I got in that video which I made. I just turned 30. Here's what I learned from it. If you haven't watched it, check it out. What I responded with is that I got good genetics, which is true. I have good genetics, all right? But I'm 6 feet tall and I'm naturally skinny. It's a good genetics, all right? I'm not complaining about that. But also, I don't drink, eat mostly healthy, and haven't missed a day workout since I was 14. And that's true too. So you can say that you have good genetics, and I can also say yes, but also I don't drink and I've been working out very hard and I mostly eat healthy. Truth be told, I had a burger last night, but that was after 2 weeks. So I don't take it that seriously because that's not cool for me. If it is for you, just freaking eat vegetables all the time. That's fine. I've seen so many people chicken breast and broccoli every day in the lunch. Very inspirational. I like my food. Okay. So, but I eat mostly healthy. So that's the truth as well. I don't want to create a perception that it's like straight up 10 years, all veggies. But also, if you are mostly that way, you'll turn out fine as well. And I'm not saying I'm perfect, but if you want to do more, you'd get more. That's all that I'm saying. All right. Just finished the books. I was a dropper preparing for JEE but failed miserably. Reading a book, I got wisdom, motivation. Again, I'm giving it. Okay. Your book has clarity and okay. That was not related to it. I probably added it over here so that I remind you that you should read my book. It's going to teach you a lot of things, and also it's going to make you laugh. Sometimes it's going to make you cry, but it's fine because this world is all light and shadow, and we have to understand the worth of each. Wow, that I should not have said that. I should have put it in my next book, which is going to come out very soon. A lot of people are asking when's my next book coming out. It's not going to be in less than a year. I'm working on it. I'm working on third draft of first chapter right now. Third draft of first chapter just ended today. So the third draft should end in a couple of months. And this book had 15 drafts. So I would not hold my breath on it. So you should not be, I'm waiting for Ashish's next book. Ashish took 5 years to write his first book. It's at least going to take 2 years to write his next book. All right. That's about it, guys. Thank you so much for listening. I adore your support so much, man. So much I'm almost about to cry. And I hope that you tune in again and again. Next week, probably going to be a Momentum podcast. So if you do not know, I have a podcast in Hindi called Momentum Podcast. I have a podcast in English that you're listening to right now, the Art Podcast. And I have a different channel for Hindi podcast. So go and subscribe if you like that language, like to listen to stuff in that language, talk about a lot of stuff. It's never the same in both, but both are fun nonetheless. All right, I'm ending it over here. See you next time. Till then, bye.